Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iOS today is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
Pink iPhones, foot-long iPads, and Apple Watch Couture.
Plus, I'm back from New York, but my app cap is still back on the East Coast.
And how to pair your iPhone with your Android Wear. All that
and more
on iOS today.
iOS Today is brought to you by Lynda.com, the online learning platform with over 3,000 on-demand video courses to help you strengthen your business, technology, and creative skills. For a free 10-day trial, visit lynda.com/iOS Today. That's LYNDA.com/iOS Today. And by Blue Apron. Blue Apron will send you all the ingredients to cook fresh, delicious meals with simple step-by-step instructions right to your door. See what's on the menu this week and get your first 2 meals free by going to blueapron.com/twit. That's blueapron.com/twit. And by Gazelle. Would you like to get cash for your old iPhone? Gazelle makes it easy. The shipping is free and the payment is fast. What's your iPhone worth? Find out at gazelle.com. It really feels like we've never done this before. iOS Today is on the air. We missed you last week.
We did. Holiday in the U.S., Labor Day.
Yeah. So we took the day off.
Yes, you were in New York. Now you're back.
Uh-huh.
And a lot happened while we were gone.
I guess Apple had some event. I feel bad because I have been here covering Apple events for last 10 years. In fact, the last Apple event that I did not go to, I think, was the 2001 iPod announcement.
Oh.
I've been to every Apple event since then. I love going to them. I love covering them. I loved going when Steve was there because he was the consummate showman.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard. I feel bad for Tim Cook and Phil Schiller and Eddie Q and the whole Apple executive team because they're walking in some pretty big shoes. There is nobody better at doing keynotes than Steve Jobs. But most people agree that this past Wednesday's keynote was maybe the best since Steve. Really exciting.
Yeah, there was a lot to talk about. There were a lot of things that they showed us, and there's only one event. Usually there's 2 events, right?
The pacing was good. I mean, it was 2.5 hours if you include it's not One Direction, New Direction? One Republic?
One Republic. One Republic was the band that played.
I'm not up on the boy band thing.
So the rest of the people had to sit and watch One Republic for the whole time?
Well, I'm told, I wasn't there, but I'm told that there were a few journalists who rudely, I think, got up and went to the demo table trying to get their hands on this new stuff. So let's talk about it. 2.5-hour event, clearly edited. I felt like it was very obvious as you're watching the event, and I did after the fact. Apple streamed it. We covered it here, you and Mike, and it was Andy Anaka was with you.
Alex Lindsay.
But it was pretty obvious to me that there were edits. And you see this sometimes in an Apple event because things change over time. They had so much to talk about.
Yeah.
That they, for instance, at the beginning, Apple will normally talk about retail sales, how well the stores are doing, how well the iPhone's doing. Lately, they've been talking how well it's doing in China. These are all things Apple probably would have liked to have talked about, especially China, because as you know, Tim Cook called Jim Cramer and said, hey, don't worry about economic woes in China. We're doing just fine. I'm sure they would have loved to do that on stage, but they didn't, and I think it's because they just had to cut it for time. They got right into it. Started off, now we thought this was an iPhone event. That's what September usually is. Started off with WatchOS.
Yeah, the new WatchOS, which we'd heard about, but then new watches.
And the new bands?
Yes, the rose gold's Apple Watch, which is very beautiful.
And now you're a woman.
I am. That is true.
What do you think of the, I mean, I'm thinking that the Hermes watches are for women, right?
Yeah.
They're not for men.
I don't know.
I don't know.
They're not, I don't think. They're beautiful. I think they're beautiful.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering.
They're not new. Like that loop, it's an Hermes watch, which has been around for a while with that double loop. The double tour is what they call it. I think it's $1,200. That's been around with an Hermes watch.
But not with a technology watch.
Yeah, when the Apple Hermes watch.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, it is. They are
And in
beautiful.
fact, it's even, the watch isn't even the same shape. They've stretched it out. It's a little bit, that's not it.
No, it's...
that rubber band is exactly not it.
I definitely have the link because I've been trying to
there it is.
Convince Leo that I really need to test this for the good of
How
our
much?
viewers.
Can I just get the band, or do I have to get the whole?
The band is $1,200. So yeah,
the band is $1,200.
Just get the band, $1,200.
Holy cow! And I think this is interesting because it looks like, in fact, I could see that this is an Hermes watch face, designed in that Hermes style. It even says Hermes Paris on the front. I wonder, though, if you can use other. Can you still get the Mickey Mouse tapping his toes? I bet you can.
I bet you can too. Yeah. Yes.
But people who are fashion forward are going to know this brand very well. It's a very famous French designer.
Yeah, there's the
brand.
double tour, and then there's the one that looks like a riding. It's very like equestrian.
Yes.
That I really like.
In fact, the Hermes scarves, which I've bought for years, the beautiful silk scarves, my daughter loves them, often have horses and whips.
Yeah.
And stuff on there. So this is the band. That's why I thought maybe is a man's band, because there's one where the watch is on a leather cuff. But maybe that's for women. I don't know.
But you know what?
There, no, not that.
I
That's
really
keep going. Keep going. That's the single tour.
But there is a thicker one.
There you
one
go.
in
The
cuff.
cuff.
I guess a man could wear that. Sure. Why not?
Inspired by
especially a
equestrian
man who has a
fixtures.
rose gold iPhone like yourself.
It is the 42 millimeter, $1,500. That's the
I'm pretty sure
band
that's
and
just
the watch.
It is?
Has to be.
I don't know. Maybe. But
No, I think because notice that's not the standard Apple Watch.
No, it's not the standard Apple Watch.
So I think that has to be the total two together. You think that would look good on me?
I do think it would look good on you, and I think it would look great on me. And I knew that you weren't going to buy it, so I was talking to Georgia Dow after the event.
Is she going to get one?
Well, she would like one. She would like someone to buy her one. But she has. Did you see? You saw that band? She brought it to Twit, right? That she had just gotten on Etsy. It's like a leather band that was personally engraved. I think she brought them on Twit. So I looked at that, and then I saw Etsy does have lots of beautiful leather bands.
So kudos to Apple, because that connector that they're using, they haven't patented it. I think it's unique to Apple. I don't know if others use it, but it's easy enough to design it. And as we've mentioned before, remember I had that nice red band, $35. You don't have to buy a $1,000 designer band.
Right.
But so they spent some time doing that. There's a statement there, launching with that, not a new iPad, not a new iPhone, but starting with a new band, a designer version of the Apple Watch. Not talking about sales of the Apple Watch, but just that is really, and this is what you have to do with these events, is kind of, look at the subtext, is really saying we're a fashion-forward brand. And we think fashion is important. Geeks like me who buy computers because they have a command prompt that's based on BSD aren't really up on what Hermes is and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not who Apple's aiming at anymore. I mean, they're really aiming at the fashion forward group. New York Fashion Week was going on during the event.
They talked about fashion during the Apple TV presentation also. There was how to buy fashionable clothes from your couch.
But then, after doing this, boom, no iPhone. They go right into, and I loved how Tim Cook kind of dropped it. Now let's talk iPad. So there was some debate in the Apple press and the Apple community about whether the iPad would make it to this announcement. You know that on this show we mentioned John Petchkowski of BuzzFeed, and others had said that Apple would announce an iPad Pro during the event. John Gruber of Daring Fireball, who's one of the foremost Apple pundits, said, I don't think so. I don't see how they could get that all into an event. They've got to have a second event. Well, Apple stunned everybody by, in fact, showing the iPad Pro. Nothing new there, right? It's everything we already thought it would be.
Yeah, I don't think there was any. I mean, I think, no, the stylus was new. Or the
pencil we didn't know anything about. We knew there'd be a stylus.
Right, but we didn't know it was going to be called a pencil.
And we didn't know it would look like a pencil.
And nobody knew how beautiful it would look. And
it looks like it belongs in 2001, A Space Odyssey. One weird thing, 4 speakers.
Yeah, the quad speakers.
Not sure why. They didn't upgrade the camera, though, which is a little disappointing. If you're going to buy a Pro iPad with a Pro speaker system, wouldn't you want a camera equivalent to the iPhone camera?
I don't know. I mean, or is it something that you're not going to be really taking around with you so much?
Those 3 pins are how it's going to connect to the keyboard.
Right, the smart connector.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. 12.9 inches. You can fit two of the iPad Pro, the iPad Air in an iPad Pro. So one vertical, one horizontal. So that's the size of it. I don't know. Do you think it could replace your laptop at this point?
Well, this is to me what was most interesting about the iPad Pro. I said, and I believe this, that it is a breakthrough product. It's not just a bigger iPad any more than the iPad itself was. A lot of people thought, oh, it's just a big iPhone. Something happens when you go from iPhone size to iPad size. It's a different experience, different user interface in effect. And I think the same thing will happen going to this 12.9-inch iPad Pro. It's so big, and you can see it in Tim Cook's hands. I mean, it's like giant, that suddenly controls that were small and difficult to use in a touch interface are like the real world. So when you're using GarageBand, it's kind of like a mixer. When you're using iMovie, it seems like such a natural thing to drag things around. And the extra size means it's more doable. It's easier, even for somebody like me with pudgy fingers. And I think that's what's really going to be interesting. This is the first time we've seen a productivity device, a computer, with a touch-first operating system. And that's what I mean when I say it's a breakthrough. You know, a lot of people said, oh, it's just the Surface. We've seen this before. Microsoft makes a Surface with a very similar keyboard and a stylus, but it runs Windows RT or Windows 10. And Windows is not a touch-first operating system. I don't care what you say. I guess RT, you could argue maybe it is. But even with RT, when you get to the desktop, there are little controls that are too small to touch. This is the first time a touch-first OS has been put on a platform designed for productivity. And I think, and this is the big question mark, given the right software, and they showed some really cool stuff, this could be a huge breakthrough. This could be something that professionals might use to do things like mix music or edit movies, to design 3D cars. In fact, we had a company called YouMake in the studio yesterday for Twit. Evie, one of its founders, was here and showed me. It was one of the programs that Tim Cook showed when he was talking about the iPad Pro. And it is a kind of like AutoCAD, a 3D design tool, but you use the pencil and your fingers to do it and render it. And then you can output it in a normal way and use it with other tools and so forth. He showed me a car that was designed from the ground up on the iPad. Now, they haven't released that product yet. It's in beta. It will be released on the iPad Air, but they don't really see that as the platform. They say the big iPad Pro, that's the platform. If you want to know more, umake.xyz is the website. And if Apple can convince companies like these guys to create this kind of pro stuff for the iPad Pro, that's when I think it's going to be groundbreaking. I think people will want to use this to mix music and to edit movies. I know I will. There it is. That's the YouMake.
I also think that the Microsoft Office apps are great on the iPhone. Like, that's what I use a lot of those. So I can't imagine they would not be great on the big iPad.
Yeah, a lot of shock because Microsoft's on stage for the first time since Bill Gates towered over Steve Jobs when Steve Jobs came back to Apple.
Yeah.
And there's a good reason Microsoft's being rewarded because they released touch-first Office first on the iPad before they even did it on their own platforms, on Windows and the Windows Phone. And I agree with you. I think it makes much more sense to use, well, they showed, for instance, not just Microsoft Word, but Microsoft's PowerPoint presentation tool. And they showed how touch and the pencil really make that a better experience. The keyboard is a question mark for me. I almost wish Apple hadn't released the keyboard. I guess they had to because here we're seeing PowerPoint being done with touch.
Why do you not want them to release the keyboard?
Well, first of all, the keyboard they showed is crappy, and people who typed on it said it isn't very typable. And I feel like it's not up to Apple's standards. They did it because, well, it frankly looks a lot like the keyboard for the Microsoft Surface. Yeah. It even connects with the connectors on the bottom, the pogo plug, and it even has a kind of a tilt thing so you can have it at an angle. It has some of the flaws of the first generation Surface because you can only have the screen at one angle, and people who used the Surface in the early days didn't like that. Microsoft fixed that later with a multi-angle stand on the Surface. These keyboards have such short travel, they're covered with fabric, they're just hard to type on. And I don't think typing is really what the strong suit of the iPad Pro is going to be. I really think it's a touch device.
So maybe you think the keyboard is just like, well, you have this. We're giving it to you. We're serious about this.
But I think it distracts from what really is going to be important. And of course, Apple does it because there are going to be people who say, well, I need a keyboard. I believe you'll be able to use any Bluetooth keyboard with this, so I don't think that there is a lack of keyboards for this.
Right.
The pencil is fascinating, though. Don't you think that's going to be a great tool?
Yeah, it looks beautiful. It looks like, you know, you can draw like I've never seen people draw before. You know, it's speedy, it catches up, it looks like you're actually drawing.
One of the hardest things to do with a stylus is get it as low latency so that when you draw a line, it actually draws. The other thing that's unique about this is you actually feel like you're drawing on the screen. We've seen touch screens before where the digitizer, the thing that receives the pen input, is at a little bit of a distance from the screen itself. And so you feel like you're kind of drawing on a floating panel above the screen. Apple's bonds those two together, and there's very little distance between the digitizer and the screen. There's none. And so I mean, if you know, of course, this is Apple-made movie, so we will have to wait till we try it. But the people who did try it at the demo room were very impressed with the capabilities. The low latency, which means it draws as if it really is a pencil. And look at this. I mean, it really feels that way. Yeah. You can use the edge to almost shade it in like a charcoal pencil would be. It's pressure sensitive, so the harder you press, the wider the line. This is interesting. Now, it has power. Oh, that's the ruler feature, which is kind of interesting too.
I think there's like a Marx Brothers joke in here, because if I can't draw like that, I'm going to bring it back to Apple and say, like, I can't draw like this. And they'll say, could you draw like that before? And I'll say, no.
No. Yeah, I don't know, you're not an artist? Because for me, I would love to be able to do this, but you're right, I can't draw. So, but I have to think cartoonists who loved the Surface, by the way. Illustrators will love this. Designers will love it. The pen charges via the Lightning port. This is the first time we've seen a two-way Lightning port. Previous Lightning adapters on Apple devices have not had outward charging, only inward charging. Pen charges very fast. Apple says 15 seconds for 30 minutes of use.
15 minutes for 30 minutes?
15 seconds for 30 minutes.
15 seconds for 30 minutes.
And the pen goes for roughly 12 hours. So if my math is correct, that means 6 minutes to fully charge the pen from empty. And that's why you don't need an external charger. You just, you know, take a coffee break, plug the pen into the Lightning port.
Right, and it's like, because that was the question, am I going to be walking around with my iPad with the pen sticking out the side?
No. But notice there is nowhere to put the pen. I guess you'll have to put it in your pocket. People have asked, can I use that pen on any other Apple device? No. It is specifically for the iPad Pro. There are styluses for our iPads, but they're not the same. Those are basically doing the work of your finger. They're capacitive touch devices. That's why they have a little rubber tip, or sometimes they have little fibers. Those are capacitive. They're actually taking the electrical charge from your hand and passing it down through the stylus so that the iPad thinks that's your finger. They do some tricks to kind of give you maybe some sense of pressure, but it's not a pressure-sensitive tablet. And as far as I know, and Apple, I don't know how clear Apple has been. Remember, some of this is speculation because these haven't shipped. But as far as I can tell, that pencil is only for the iPad Pro. The people who tried it at the demo day really were impressed by the functionality, the ease of use. It felt very natural to them. I think this is going to be a very exciting product for those people who can use it.
Right. So yeah, available in November.
Yeah, the whole thing, the whole setup.
So,
now, not cheap either.
No, was it $1,200? I think.
Well, it starts at I think $729, $750. But you're going to probably want the iPad Pro with it's got 4 gigs of RAM. We think, nobody knows for sure. Gruber says, I'm sure it's 4 gigs. I'd bet money on it. Adobe. The only reason we think 4 gigs, Adobe accidentally released an article that said it had 4 gigs. That's really important. That is not something to sneeze at. In fact, 4 gigs, some say, is still too small. If you're doing Photoshop, if you're doing 3D rendering, if you're doing 3D designs, those files can get to be massive, many, many gigabytes. 4 gigs of RAM means you'd have to page it in and out. That's going to be a very inadequate experience. In fact, a lot of people said that the key to this is also, besides software, which I agree, Ben Thompson of Stratechery, for instance, was very clear. Apple has to adopt its software process so that you can have trial offers, so you can have, the expectation right now for apps on the iOS platform is $5, $10. A 3D designing program, it's going to be hundreds of dollars. Will people pay that?
Right.
There's actually a limit in the Apple Store to $9.99. You can't charge more than that. And they have no trial version. So I think they've got to solve that. Apple has to foster this kind of development. and solve that problem. And 4 gigs of RAM may prove to be a little skinny. So the price points, I think it's
$799 to $1,079.
Okay, so $799 is if you only have 32 gigs of storage. Nobody's gonna buy that. That's just so they have a low price point. You're gonna want 128 gigs. You're gonna wish you could put more RAM in it, I think. $950, and then the pen, if you want to add that, is another, what, $100 for the pencil?
$100 for the pen, and then $169 for the keyboard, I
Don't
think?
buy the keyboard. Just don't.
Okay.
Just don't.
I won't.
We'll buy it all. No, you can buy it. We'll buy it all, and we'll give you a review in November when this comes out. I still say this could be, it's certainly the first touch-first production tool we've seen in the mass market. This could be a huge breakthrough.
Well, I think because my problem with the iPad's always been it's just for leisure. Like, that's what I think about it.
It's
it's for watching
device.
movies. It's for listening to music and playing games. And then to spend that much money on a device that I can't use for work, that's kind of it's a roadblock for me, and I think for other people. But if you're thinking, oh, well, I can do all the fun things and I can justify it as a work computer, then yeah, I think it's going to be big.
I think what's going to happen is that the kinds of people that the software works well for, and you'll clearly use sketching software, GarageBand, iMovie. People who use those, our editors, for instance, may start demanding iPad Pros because it will be it's such a natural way to work, where instead of using a mouse and a keyboard to manipulate things, you just touch it. You expand a clip by stretching it. You cut it by cutting it. And I think those things are going to be so intuitive and natural that it's just going to be a whole new class of computing experience, I think. Look at that. That's so cool. Don't you want to work that way, Anthony? Yeah. I mean, the kind of editing we do, maybe it wouldn't be enough to do, the kind of stuff we do. For instance, there's no file system or no obvious way to access files and save files. I don't know. There may be some limitations. We'll have to see. I just feel like we're getting close here to something that could be really exciting.
All right, so should we go in order of the event?
Yeah, we're doing it.
Okay.
So what's next?
Well, I think they announced the Apple TV next, yes.
What do you think?
I think it looks really interesting. I think it doesn't look groundbreaking or anything, and I think they were pushing things that were weird, like use Siri to search for your favorite TV shows.
Is that weird? You don't like that?
Well, I like it, but I think it's still, I mean, you could still do that on some Roku.
Fire TV lets you do that.
Yeah.
My Android TV with NVIDIA, I can press a button on the controller and I can do that. But Apple's going to do a couple of things that are different. The search is going to go across multiple stores. So you can say, I want to see all James Bond movies. It'll show you James Bond movies in a variety of locations.
Right,
and you can narrow it down, as she demonstrated on stage. Let me just see the ones with Sean Connery, and it will know. So that's one thing Siri's good at. But you know what I'm most excited about?
What?
What did she say?
Oh,
what did she say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do that sometimes? You're sitting, you're watching, you're young.
Yeah.
You have good ears.
Right. And then you have to rewind, and it's hard.
Say, what did she say? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What did she, that was important, and you missed it.
Right.
So now you can literally tell Siri, I think was that the command? What did she say?
I didn't, I know
what
that
did he
there
say?
were all kinds of tricks that Siri
That's
could do.
one I would pay money. It rewinds some amount, 15 seconds back, plays it again. It even turns on. I think this is so great. There's got to be one old person, one old guy like me in that development team, because it even turns on closed captioning for those 15 seconds. So if you still can't hear it, you can at least read it.
Right.
Say what? I think say what would be a good command. Siri, say what?
You could probably change that.
Rewinds it. That's one. The other one, skip ahead 7 minutes or skip ahead 2 minutes. Now, the networks are not going to like that. In fact, I speculated on Twitter that may be one reason that Apple's having a hard time making these network deals. But as users, skip ahead 2 minutes. What would you do with that? I can't. Skip ahead 7 minutes. You'd skip ads, right?
Yeah.
I hope they don't put that in the podcast app. No, I think this is great. So I think that part is exciting. It does look a little bit like catch up with the Nintendo Wii, for instance. But did you like the idea of across the roads multiplayer?
Yes. Well,
when you do that?
I like the idea of bringing gaming to the TV, and I'm sure that's not new for most people because they have Xboxes and they have all those things. But in our family, we don't, and so we do a lot of mobile gaming, and it's separate, and it's everybody on their own device. So I do like the idea of bringing the family back together in one room and being able to see what everybody's doing.
I think that sounds fun, and I can see playing Crossy Roads with the kids, and it just looked like a lot of fun. There are still a lot of question marks. One thing Apple didn't address, for instance, is, well, do I have to buy extra remotes? We're going to play against each other.
Right.
How is Milo going to do it?
But I think you can use your phone. I think they.
Well, they didn't answer that, but they implied that you can use your other iOS devices, your phones, maybe even your iPads. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Second screen. There's a lot of things they could do. You know, they have the equivalent of a Wii U if you have an iPad and the new Apple TV. Prices are pretty good, $149 for the 32 gig version. 64 gig version is $200. You can buy a joystick. Doesn't come with a joystick. You're probably going to want to do that though. Have a dedicated controller as well as the remote. You know, gaming's not going to be superb. This isn't a very, the processor isn't even the current iPhone's processor. I think it's the last generation, as I remember. I think it was an A8. It's not going to be the fastest thing in the world. It has some interesting tricks because there's so little storage. There's tricks it plays. If you don't use an app for a while, it might delete parts of the app and then download it if you want to use it again. There's some unknowns that you know, as always with this stuff, it looks great in the demo.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait till we get it home to see. But I'm going to buy one, don't you think? I mean,
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that it's got a lot of great things, and yeah, I'd have to have it in my living room to be able to tell just if it lives up to that hype.
I think for a family, the idea of everybody, I agree with you. Yeah. Let's all watch one screen together and play games with each other.
Yeah, like you can play Minecraft now, and you can play Minecraft on the Pocket Edition Minecraft with the regular Minecraft, which is brand new.
On the Apple TV?
Yeah.
Ah, I like that.
I think that'll be interesting. But then there were some features that weren't very group watching friendly, like bringing up sports scores while you're watching, or you know, all those other things.
Oh,
the
but if you're a
multitasking.
sports nerd, if you're a baseball fan, that interface, able to go from one game to the other.
Right, but then you have to, your whole family has to be. Like,
well,
you know, you don't want, it's the annoying person in the room that's like, you're like,
wait a minute.
Wait, go
How
back
are the Dodgers doing?
What did he just say?
What?
What did he just say?
Yeah, I'm going to be that guy.
Say?
What did you, say what? They did point out, actually our panel on Twit on Sunday pointed out that unfortunately the restrictions that Major League Baseball applies to MLB may be annoying. They may be onerous. For instance, you can't watch a game in your, and they're blacked out locally. Oh, yeah. You know, you'll be watching somebody else's games. There's some limitations in that regard. So it may not be the superb experience we all hope for, but that's not Apple's fault. That's MLB. They, you know, they just don't want to cut into ticket sales, I guess.
The other thing I was reading about today, there's going to be no web views on Apple TV. So
I read that article. What do you think?
I think that's interesting. I mean, I think from the article I read, it's on Medium, it said that that's better because you don't want to, they're doing it for a reason because they don't want it'll look bad if anybody's able to just browse the internet. They want to keep things in the apps.
It does mean that apps for Apple TV will have to be segregated from apps for, excuse me, iOS, I'm sorry. But it does mean that apps for the Apple TV will be segregated in the store. Will have to be segregated. By the way, this is what Android TV does too, from the regular App Store, because very many, in fact, if not all apps on iPhone and iPad use this web view. You know it, you've seen it before, and it's a shortcut that developers use instead of, let's say, on a weather app, actually drawing the weather in. They put a frame and they take that data and the images and everything from the web. It's in effect a little view like a web page in the middle of the application. That saves them time coding. It makes it possible to write apps for multiple platforms a lot more easily. Developers are not going to be happy about the loss of WebView because that means they have to make a custom version for the Apple TV. It may limit the number of apps we see on the Apple TV. It will almost certainly break most of the apps we know of. So you'll have to write a dedicated app for the Apple TV. So this is, you know, again, a lot of this stuff we don't know about because we're just hearing about it for the first time and nobody's tried it. But I'm thinking, for instance, we're writing right now iOS and Android apps for Twit. We want to have those available on iOS so you can watch Twit on your iPhone or your iPad. We've always wanted to be on the Apple TV. In the past, you had to talk Apple into putting you in there, and very few were able to do that. Now, I presume we'll be able to offer an app to the App Store. Apple approves it, and now you can download it. That would be great. Gosh, that would be great for us. But it won't be the same app as the Android and the iOS app. It'll have to be specially written specifically for the Apple TV.
And there's no way to send people out to the internet. Oh yeah, here's what I was talking about. Go on. Here's a link to the web. You won't be able to do that.
Yeah, I think it's, so I understand why Apple's doing it, I agree with you, but it's good for developers, it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah. All right, have we gotten to the phones yet? Was there anything else we missed? We got watches.
We're
we got
2 hours into this event. Oh my God. And they haven't even mentioned the phones. Hey, Siri, give me a break. All right, let's get to the phones.
Okay, the new phones.
Anything new that we didn't know about the phones?
Pink.
No, rose gold.
Rose gold.
So I was hoping that the images on the website were just wrong.
You wanted rose gold. This Android Wear watch.
That's rose gold.
Described as rose gold.
It's a copperish gold.
But no,
it's not
pink,
that.
And they're calling
Here, show this because I want people to understand. Rose gold is a gold with a higher percentage of copper, and it gives it a coppery-ish, goldish color. You wouldn't call that pink.
No, you wouldn't.
There's a little heavy emphasis on the rose, not the gold on this one.
So they're not calling it pink so that you buy one, which you did. And it's okay. And there's no,
it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay to
not
like
that there's
pink.
anything wrong with that.
No, it's totally okay.
A man with a pink phone doesn't mean anything.
But I joke that that's the biggest deal because obviously that's not the biggest deal about this phone. You
know why I bought it though? And I'm getting it. I got it at midnight on Saturday. And both Lisa and I did. It was so cute. We're in our bed, double bed. She's got her laptop. I've got my iPad. I decided I'm going to try to do this in the App Store. I've been told that's the best way to do it. She's going to get it from Verizon, her carrier. I'm going refresh, 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 1201, 1202, refresh. She says, I'm in. Refresh, refresh. I got it. Refresh, refresh.
She didn't just buy two?
No. Well, I don't want a Verizon one. I want the unlocked one.
Yeah.
So she bought hers. iPhone 6s Plus, 64 gigabytes. I think she was right. You don't need 128.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
Yeah, and rose gold.
Yeah.
She didn't tell me that. I thought, I got to get rose gold so we can look at it so I can show you and you can decide, is that gold or is it pink? I think it's pink. Maybe I don't want pink. Maybe I want gold. So I was, I did it for you.
But I also did it for you.
You got rose gold?
I got rose gold. Can you change it at this point? It's not too late. I mean, it's too late to change the color?
No, I want pink.
Okay.
I even got a nice clear case.
It's okay to want. You're saying it's for you because you don't want it. It's okay.
Not that there's anything wrong with it. So I got the rose gold. I did get 128 gigs.
Yeah.
Because
Do you know how big this one is?
The boss pays for it. It's okay.
I know. You know how big this one is?
How big?
16.
What?
I know. See,
did we buy that for you?
You bought this for me.
No, you chose 16.
I know. Lisa said, buy whatever you want.
And you chose 16.
Because that was the January Megan, where I was like, oh, I can't. No one's ever bought me, and I want to get that.
January Megan.
And the September Megan is like, get me the Hermes watch, get me the iPad Pro, get me everything. I deserve it.
So let's talk. Somebody's asking in the chat room, and I think this is a good question. There's a few questions about the phone. Well, let's talk hardware features first, and then we'll talk about some very complicated buying rules.
Okay, so do you want to talk about 3D Touch?
Yeah, what do you think?
I think it has the power to change everything.
Wow.
I do. I agree with that. I don't think I'm being a Pollyanna. Like, I think pinch to zoom really changed the way we interact with devices.
Yeah.
And I think this will too. I think there are pros and cons. So obviously, if anyone hasn't already, the 3D Touch is sort of like Force Touch on the Apple Watch.
Do you use Force Touch on the watch?
I do.
Do you like it?
I like it. Yeah. I mean, I can show it how I use it. Maybe we don't have that camera set up.
Apple has Force Touch on the Apple Watch and on a couple of its laptops.
I just use it like to get rid of. Here I can clear.
Oh, that's nice.
Clear all my notifications. Yeah, and then to change your Apple Watch face.
That I knew about.
Yeah, but that's not the only thing it does. It clears all your notifications.
So here's the problem I have with it. You don't know what it's going to do.
Right.
And on the watch, at least, you're not really sure if you've pressed it hard enough or not. You get a little buzz. I'm told by people who played with the iPhone, that it's a much more consistent experience. You do know what it's going to do. It's a way of getting quickly to a command that you could still get to by going through the menus or the setup or whatever.
Right.
And B, there's a very clear, they call it haptic feedback, you know, the vibration in there. So you know very clearly, have I tapped it, have I touched force level 1, or what do they call it? Push and pop?
Pop and peak.
Pop and peak.
Peak
you
and
know
pop.
very clearly where you are, how far you've pressed. And if that's true, my issue with it is that A, I didn't know exactly what I was doing, and B, I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. If Apple has solved that, then I would agree with you. This could be huge. And it does certainly look like, I love this too, by the way. They're going to show you maybe not, the live image thing. This is kind of cool.
Live images, yeah.
So this is good. You press on the camera and you go to the, what is the hard one?
Pop, yeah.
You go to the pop level and you'll get a menu of things you can do with the camera, like take a selfie.
Emergency selfies. That is great.
Emergency selfies.
If you need to take an emergency selfie.
Huge change.
I mean, I'm no nonsense. Like, I like to do things quickly, and I hate having to go through the app and open the app, and then, so I'm just excited about this. And I think there are some drawbacks too. When I was talking to Georgia Dow, she said some people might have trouble with it, especially some older people might have trouble. It's like not knowing what it is, like not knowing how to do it. Like from an accessibility perspective, this could be great and it could be horrible. Like,
I'll tell you right now that I think it's okay on the watch. It's terrible on the MacBooks, on the laptops. You just don't know what's going to happen. Most apps don't do it, so you just give up on it. It's really going to come down to, I think it has the potential, exactly as you say, to be as important as pinch to zoom. But I think it's going to be implementation specific. And again, this is another one we won't know until we get one.
Right.
Which we will in 2 weeks.
Yes.
When are you getting yours?
Will, October 16th. I slept
What?
late.
You didn't get up at 12:01?
I did, actually, no, I didn't get up at 12:01. I was up at 5:30, but...
oh, it's too late by then.
Well, yeah, I did it around noon.
So
October 16th is when I will get
within 2 hours, they'd sold out every model in China, every one of them, and that in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and China. In the United States, almost all of the big ones were sold, the 6S Plus. There were, and apparently for a long time still were stock on the 6, but you wanted the big one, right?
I did.
And Rose Gold did in fact sell out faster than anything else. So that, you know, people want the new one.
They want the thing that no one else has.
Yeah. So yeah, well, that's not too bad. When?
No, October
16th.
16th. Right.
So you're a couple of 3 weeks after I get it.
Yes, and maybe it'll be like the Apple Watch. You won't want it, and you'll give it to me.
I don't. People are looking and say, this is iOS today, and Leo's not wearing his Apple Watch, and he's not using his iPhone, because I gave my iPhone to my son. Because I knew I would be getting the new one. He lost his iPhone. He needed a phone. He needs to be able to stay in touch. So I gave it to him, sent it to Colorado. He's a student at CU Boulder. And without the phone, you know what? The watch really is not, doesn't do anything.
The time.
I'll tell you what it does. It's charging, waiting for the iPhone 6S Plus to arrive.
You can also use it as GPS. You can use it when you're exercising, when you're out running without the phone. You can use it, you can put music on it and stream it like Bluetooth.
And how do you do all that stuff?
Well, you do it before you send it. Before you send the phone away.
It's too late now. Anyway, I'm going to
do it with Lisa's phone.
Oh, I could, but then
get her notifications.
It'd be her. Yeah, I'd be getting her stuff.
Yeah, why not? It's one use case.
Yeah, no, that is a definite use case. No, I'm fine. I'm content, and I actually have to say, I'm really intrigued by what Apple's done. I can't wait to play with the new camera. People say 12 megapixels. Come on, we've had 16 megapixels on Samsung phones for a couple of years now. It ain't the number of megapixels. It's really what Apple does with its camera. And to be able to shoot these live photos, the 4K video, the 12 megapixels, I think this might be the best camera phone ever. I'm excited about that. There's one more thing I want to do with it. You know, Facebook Mentions allows you to stream live to Facebook. You have to have an iOS device.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
and Facebook Mentions only for famous people like yourself.
I am a verified Facebook user, so I actually can use it. I install on my iPad, and I guess I could stream from the iPad if you don't mind the quality. But I want to send you really high quality video of me grooming my cat and making the bed, and it's going to be so exciting, making tortillas. It's going to be so exciting.
Or getting your pink iPhone.
Well, I won't be able to do that because that would be self-referential. You could make a video of me getting my pink iPhone.
Well, yes, that's true, but I won't have mine yet.
You're not live mentioned.
No,
ready.
no, I'm not.
Not verified.
It's weird. I have a Facebook page that's not, you know, me, like that someone just made. I think they scrape it from. That's
verified?
I think they scrape it from Wikipedia, I've heard.
But that's not verified.
I don't know.
If it is, you should immediately contact Facebook and say, take this down.
And I am not
This
verified.
shall not stand.
It's like the public person Facebook page.
No, you make that. Nobody else makes that. Maybe we made that?
I did not make it. Someone told me it got scraped from my Wikipedia page.
Well, they're not allowed. That's wrong. It's wrong and illegal.
It's wrong. I'm not going to stand for it.
It's supposed to be yours.
So that was,
Anyway. Did we cover everything? Oh, no, we didn't.
No, we haven't covered it. We didn't talk about live photos, which I like to call live images.
They didn't invent. They didn't invent that. Nokia did it. Zoe's, remember Zoe's on my HTC?
I do not remember Zoe's.
Well, it's been done before, but I think Apple will do it nicely. The idea is when you lift the camera to start taking a picture, even before you take the picture, it records 1.5 seconds of video before and after. And should you choose, you could take that still and pop it, press it hard, and it will turn into a video It's not really a video, by the way. It's multiple high-quality images. So it's kind of like an animated GIF, but it's not.
Right.
I've been told that Facebook will support it, which would be kind of cool if you could post it right to Facebook. Otherwise, like Zoe's and these Nokia Live images, they're kind of proprietary and not compatible with other things. But if Facebook does it, that's pretty good, right?
And it takes up a lot of space, I think, too.
Well, yeah, of course. It's going to have maybe, I don't know, how many images is it going to be? 60 frames a second or 30 frames? Let's say 30 frames a second for 3 seconds. It's 900 images.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Wow.
I wanted also, before we stop this, I want to talk about the battery.
I'm sorry, 90. Did I say 900?
90 images.
90.
A lot.
Math is hard.
They say it won't take up that much more space, but I mean, someone did a side-by-side comparison.
Well, 90's a lot of pictures.
Yeah, you don't want to be January Megan and get yourself a 16 gigabyte iPhone.
Don't be January Megan.
Be September Megan. Be September Megan.
So let's talk real quickly. Apple has offered an installment plan.
Oh, right.
Read that carefully. A number of people have kind of done the math on it. You do get Apple Care Plus as part of the price. Most people agree that this is a fair price and probably as good a price as you would get from your carriers. All the carriers now offer installment plans. The advantage of this is after a year, you can say, I want the new one. And you just continue paying 32 bucks or whatever for the rest of your life. Now, there are some caveats. For some reason, Apple requires you to activate it with AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, or Verizon before you take it out of the store. That, some people speculate, has to do with smuggling or people buying these and then, but I don't think that's the case because nobody's going to buy something on time and smuggle it.
Right.
So that makes no sense at all. I think it's a little backsheesh, a little payout to the cell companies. Like, here, have some, because the cell companies do make money. Even if you cancel the next day, there's an initiation fee, usually 30, 40, 50 bucks that you're going to pay to the cell phone company for doing this. So I don't like that. Unless you know you're going to be activating it with an existing cell phone company, I would probably stay away from it. You do have to qualify. It's a loan.
Right.
It's like a credit card, but there is zero interest. So
okay, so it's a loan, but you're owning the phone at the end if you ever decide. I mean, if you don't go back there
after 2 years, you own it.
You own it. It's
not
stops.
A lease.
Right. You own it.
Or
not a rental.
You can, after 1 year, get the new iPhone, and that resets the clock to 2 years again.
So what is it for a year? What do you pay for a year then with 32?
Well, it depends. Let's say you're going to get the 64 gigabyte version of the iPhone 6s Plus. It's about $40 a month.
Okay.
Times 12, $480. Okay. Over 2 years, $960. It's about the cost of the phone. And if you include the cost of Apple Care Plus, which is over, I think it's $100 now. They raised the price of that. It's a good deal.
Right. So what happens if... Don't
lose the phone, don't break it.
Yeah.
Well, then the Apple Care Plus program goes in, but you don't have a choice about these things. You're going to want to pay there's a deductible, I can't remember what it is, $50, no, maybe it's a $100 deductible. Yeah. And you can only have a certain number of visits. You know, I don't know what happens if you lose your phone 3 times.
Yeah.
In that first year. I guess you just kind of have to keep paying.
We should test it out.
No. No. Well, we are going to test something out that might cost you your phone a little bit later on in the show.
Yeah.
And then unlocked, as far as I could tell, Apple, and they did this last year, they don't offer specifically an unlocked phone. They offer right now, when you went online to buy it, you could either buy it through your carrier, which would obviously be carrier locked, or if you buy it on the Apple website, you had to choose the carrier, AT&T, Sprint, Verizon, T-Mobile. The question is, and I bought the T-Mobile one, we'll let you know, is the T-Mobile one carrier locked to T-Mobile or not? Last year I bought the T-Mobile, I think I bought the T-Mobile version, and I was able to get T-Mobile to unlock it. I just said, hey, and they unlocked it. They're very good about that kind of thing. I'm probably going to run it on T-Mobile anyway, so I don't really care about that.
Yeah, I bought it that way on Sprint.
If you buy the little tip, if you buy the Verizon version, all these iPhones now are the same. Verizon, thanks to a consent decree with the Federal Communications Commission, cannot lock the SIM slot. So that is also an unlocked iPhone. I had the Verizon iPhone 6. That's the one I gave Henry. Henry's going to use it on AT&T. All he does is put an AT&T SIM in it, and it continues to work. So it's not really carrier locked in that sense. You can continue to use it with other GSM carriers.
And some carriers are also offering this same sort of get a new phone every year, like Verizon.
Every carrier is.
Yeah.
So Apple's competing with all the other carriers. It's complicated math because you don't, but from what I've seen, it looks like Apple's deal is the best deal.
Yeah. And my experience, we've had Sprint forever, and I don't know why. Now it's because we're just in debt to them from my daughter's phone.
You owe
and
them
like,
years of life.
Yes.
Yeah. Servitude.
So, but my experience in the Sprint store is always horrible, and my experience in the Apple store is always wonderful and magic.
Yeah. I prefer to buy from Apple.
Yeah.
I was very happy. The Apple store started working. It was late, about 5 minutes in, and I was able to order it. It was very seamless. Mike Elgin didn't have the same experience. They wanted him to re-verify because there's probably a lot of fraud that goes on at this time. I didn't have any problem. Went through smoothly. 2 weeks from Friday, September 25th.
So that's the day, everybody.
And then, so that means the first iOS of October, iOS day of October, I will have the new phone. Excellent. And we'll show you then, how pink is it? We'll play with some of the features. We'll get you really, so, you know, I need to buy it right away. You don't need to buy it right away. No. If you can wait and see what the reviews say.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited.
One last thing, the battery is a little bit smaller.
Smaller. It's about 5% smaller on both phones.
Right.
Does that mean 5% less life? We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know.
Your experience, my experience has been very good with the iPhone. That they really do a good job. Has that been your experience? Does it get through the day for you?
Yeah, it gets through the day.
Yeah, and you have the little one.
Yes.
Lisa says her 6 Plus is really good.
Yeah.
But then I've heard from some people it doesn't get through the whole day. And actually, some of that depends on use. Most of the time, my 6 would get through the day. But if I were in a different area and did a lot of hunting for the carrier, things like that, it could go down very quickly. Right. So really, a lot of it just depends on your mileage. May vary, as they say, depends on where you're using it now. I'm excited. I can't wait. You know, I've been using Android for a while. I just got my new Moto X, and I love it. But I think I might be going back to the iPhone with all those new features. In fact, there's one new feature in iOS 9 that could make all the difference. Lowercase keyboard.
I thought you were going to say, hey, Siri, without having it plugged in.
That worries me.
Well, you can also train it to your voice. That
still worries me.
Well, here's what I told my daughter. She, goes downtown with her friends, her troublemaking friends, and I say when they get the new iOS 9, if they're doing something wrong, just say, "Hey Siri, call my mom."
Did you see the press conference, the Washington D.C. press conference, where Siri went off?
No.
Yeah, well, we can find the video of that.
Great.
But in the middle of the press conference, Siri, which is sitting right there, obviously the guy's charging it because it doesn't do this in the current iPhone unless you're plugged in.
Yeah.
And a reporter asks a question, and all of a sudden, Siri goes, beep. I'm not sure what here it is.
To avoid disapproval from Congress. Is the president upset that he couldn't get even one Republican perhaps to sign?
I'm not sure what you want me to do.
He said, is the president upset? And I think it said, Siri set something. So
that's good.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Because I used to leave Siri plugged in, and it would go off randomly all the time.
Yeah.
What they really need to do is a longer phrase. Hey Siri, 3 syllables, and 3 short syllables of that is not enough. You know what I do on my my Moto X? Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh.
Never goes off by accident. Never, except when I go to see Star Wars Episode 4.
Sometimes I say that. Yeah, my Amazon Echo just started playing music the other day, just randomly.
I think you need a longer, more complex phrase. Maybe training will help, but hey Siri right now, I'm sorry, I just made your Siri go off, didn't I? It goes off too easily. All right, I don't think it took them 2.5 hours. I think in about half an hour, we've just explained everything anybody needs to know. If not, what should they do?
They should go to our website.
They should email us.
They should email us. They should. I don't know. Do whatever you want to do. You should email.
I lay them down, but you got to pick them up.
If you have questions, email us at our email address, which is iOStoday@twit.tv.
Oh, I see. You left your script on the table.
Yeah.
No wonder.
You can also call us 757-504-iPad. And after we have a word from our sponsor, we're going to test some products, and we're going to answer some of your questions that you have emailed or called to us.
We would love to hear questions, comments, thoughts about this new stuff. We're all in a little bit of a haze. You never know exactly until you get it, but we will have it soon. I can't wait to get that iPad Pro.
Yes,
and become a great artist. I think I'm the next Rembrandt.
Yeah, with that pencil, $100 pencil doesn't make you a great artist. What's the point?
Right. Exactly. Our show today brought to you by lynda.com. Actually, I probably could learn how to be a great artist at lynda.com. You can learn so many things. If you're a lifelong learner, I hope you are. I don't think you'd be watching our shows if you weren't. You're going to love lynda.com for the curious, for the people who want to make things happen, people who just want to get a better job or get better at their job. And it could also be get better at your hobby, whether you want to take better photos or master Microsoft Office, sharpen your photo skills or prepare a resume, learn to negotiate, run a business. It's all there, everything you need to feed your curious mind. I love programming. I don't do it for a living. I love it as a hobby. And there's so much for me. There's so much for professional programmers too. If you're interested in coding or you want to learn to develop an app, listen to some of the latest brand new courses on lynda.com. Here's one that Apple folks will love. Building and distributing a simple app with Xcode and Swift. Get started with Swift with lynda.com. How about Java essential training? The fundamentals of cloud data storage and database fundamentals. Creating and manipulating data. If you're interested in audio or music production, they've got new courses on Logic Pro X. Just came out with a big update. Of course, one of the nice things about Lynda, they work with the publishers, people like Apple and Adobe and Microsoft, so that when new versions of applications come out, they're ready right away with courses. GarageBand, essential training. That'd be a great one for people who want to pick up the iPad Pro and start making music right away. You'll be watching and learning from top experts, not just great teachers, but people who are literally working in the field, who care about their subject, their passion comes through. And these are very professionally shot. Screenshots are legible, they're clear, they're clean. The lighting is good. I mean, everything about this is well done. These are not just some amateurish YouTube videos. These are professionally produced. Courses are structured in a way that you can either watch them from beginning to end. Some people prefer that, or I'm a little bit more ADD, so I like to just dip in and get bits and pieces and bite-sized pieces. The transcripts help there. You could search the transcripts for something you're trying to learn and jump right into it. Look at that, up and running with Arduino. I need to do that. I've been meaning to do that. It's great for people like me who are kind of like enthusiasts who just say, oh, I want to learn that. Oh, I want to learn that. Because once you pay your monthly fee on Lynda, you've got access to every one of their more than 3,000 courses. So you can be impetuous. You can say, let's learn that, and then go, nah, maybe I'd like to learn that. And I love it. Hundreds of topics, one flat rate, and right now you can get 10 days free, which means you'll be able to, for the next 10 days, to take any one of these programs you see on the screen or you've heard me talk about, as many as you want. You can take a course a day for the next 10 days, whatever you want to do it. But it is free for you, the run of the place, for 10 days. Here's what you have to do. Go to lynda.com/iOS today. Is that, yeah, that's Joseph Lanashki. He is so fun. He is really great if you're into photography. lynda.com/iOS today. 10 days free. Await.
I'm going to take that GarageBand class.
Yeah.
My kids have been using GarageBand because, you know, they have iPads.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's fun to know how to use GarageBand because you can actually make really pretty credible music almost instantly because they have all the loops. You don't have to know how to play an instrument or anything. Just put some piano here, put some drums here, bass here. It's actually very relaxing.
All right, you ready to look at some stuff?
Well,
okay, we borrowed this from Mike Elgin.
Ooh.
This is the BB-8.
So I've been hearing a lot about this.
Yes, it's made by Sphero, which Sphero's been around for a while, but this is the BB-8 from the new Star Wars.
It's a robot.
It is a robot.
Wait a minute, you broke it. You could take its head right off?
You can take its head right off, and do you want it here or do you want it here?
No, first put it here because I want to take this little. There's a piece of hair on it. That's disgusting. So it comes. This is the charging base.
Yes, that's the charging base, and it works with a micro USB. And so yeah, Mike got this, and we coined the term Mandroid. This is his Mandroid.
There we are.
It's not just for kids; it's for men too and women.
That's fun. So there's no. It's like there's this ball.
Yes.
And this head.
And then I downloaded the app on my iPad. You can also download it on your iPhone.
So there it is, the BB-8 app-enabled droid software.
Okay, so I don't want to run it on here because it'll run off the table.
Here, well, let's put this on the floor.
Yeah,
Tony, would you take this? We're going to put this on the floor. Put it in patrol mode.
Okay. Here, you use it.
And then I'll show you another cool thing. Tony's going to put it on the ground. Don't take it too far.
Oh, I think
Bring it back, Tony.
Yeah, we need to hold your device near the BB-8. Sorry.
We have to train it. Actually, before we do the patrol mode, I want to show you the message mode, which is so cool.
But how close do I know?
There you go.
It's connecting.
So it's connecting. So it's Bluetooth.
And it's got sound.
It's checking the firmware, make sure you're up to date. Now, here's the different things you can do. You can drive it just like a remote controlled vehicle. You could do a message with it, and you could do patrol. Let's do the message
you can send
first.
a hologram?
Wait, watch this. Okay. Do a message. So we're going to say yes on. You allow access to the microphone. Yes. And allow access to the camera. Yes. Now, watch this. Okay.
Okay.
Let's record. Tap the message thumbnail. Line it up.
The modern incarnation of a classic design, the Incom T-70 X-Wing fighter, is the signature combat craft of.
So it's augmented reality.
Oh.
We're such idiots. You got to get the eyes. It won't let me do it. Here, do it with this.
Okay.
It's really not designed to do this. All right.
Where is it? What did it run off the side?
Where'd he go? Come here.
Come
There,
here,
can you
baby.
see there is?
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, but you guys at home, you probably can't see. There's a little. So let's record a message. You're going to record a message. You ready? Put your head in there.
Okay.
In the R2.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Okay, that was a nice rehearsal.
I need
you
my
ready?
braids.
Get the sweet rolls. Move over a little bit.
Sweet rolls.
On your head.
Oh right. Okay, the sweet rolls. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Okay, now. It says, and this is full of it, transmitting the message to the BB-8. Now, it's projecting. There's Megan. It's projecting Megan. Oh, it got out of the.
Did we start recording earlier than we thought?
Well, let's turn up the sound. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? It's up. Is sound up on this? Have you tested your?
Well, we heard the sound before when we heard the music.
Huh. Well, maybe I didn't do the microphone right, but you could see.
Yeah.
Now, it's actually not, you can only see this in augmented reality. It's actually not projecting this into the real world. You have to look at the BB-8 through your iPhone or your iPad. But it's a cool effect.
It is still cool, yes.
Yeah. All right, so that's that.
Okay.
Now, Tony, you may take the BB-8 because we're ready to patrol. Mandroid? Does that look like a man to you?
No, it's owned by a man. It's good. Like if a man buys a child's toy, it's called a man.
All right. We are going to put it in patrol mode. Are you ready? Let's patrol.
Okay, I tried to steer it before. I think you need to do the steering.
No, tap to start a patrol. No, you don't have to steer it. This does it all on its own.
Oh, really? Like a self-driving car?
It's looking around.
Oh.
It runs into things. Now it's going to see what can it do. It's trying to go up the side. Oh, watch out. Here it comes. So this is actually the funnest part. Oh, we lost it. Well, that was fun. Thanks, Mike, for letting us know. It's stuck in there probably. It's got all those. Oh, there it goes. This is kind of a fun thing. And boy, I'll tell you, if you have cats, they're going to love this.
$129 for this Mandroid, the BB-8. Totally worth it.
So there's some amazing stuff going on. This Sphero ball actually rolls around, and there's a magnet that keeps the head on and keeps it oriented up at the top, which is... Uh-oh. I really like this guy.
I do too.
See, it's looking around. So it controls the head. Now, you could steer it and do it yourself, too, but this is the automated, patrol mode. I love this. Yeah, and you can see if you look at the screen, there's data about how close it is to stuff. That's actually how the droid is looking. It's what it's seeing. I don't know how we get away with this. There we go. So now you can see acceleration vector, which is nothing. Oh, look, life form sensor activated, updating proximity. So you can actually see it doing things. Can you get a two-shot up with the BB-8 so we can see the... I'm making Anthony do a lot more than he was prepared to do.
Well, a robot's going to take your job, Anthony, if he can't do this.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. So you've got 5, 4, 3, 2. We have a new technical director, ladies and gentlemen. It's called BB. Whoa, maybe not. Maybe. Oh, his head came right off. Doesn't stop him from working. Just.
Oh, he's so cute.
Isn't this cute? It's so fun. It's so fun. So a lot of personality. I think this is really a clever. There we go. Thank you, Anthony. So you can see the sensors as it's going through. It's 89.6 degrees inside, and this is the events. Distress signal detected, scanning for life forms.
It goes on without its head like a chicken.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't need its head that much. I wonder if it's going to say head popped off. Watch as it moves, the acceleration vector will go up. It's thinking. There. Whoa, see? See, you can see it's moving now. It's kind of, I think this is really cute.
It is
anyway,
really cute.
It's a little pricey.
$129, but I think it's worth it for what it does.
Yeah, doesn't use batteries. It has lithium-ion side charges from the station there. There are two different, by the way, that says 150, but if you shop around, you can find it for less. Yeah. There are two different, though. Don't get the one that's really cheap. Target's selling one and others that doesn't really do any of this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It just looks good.
Yeah. So
BB-8. Don't you love him?
I think if you want it for the holidays, you better buy now and play with it until you hand it over to your kids.
If it survives this hostile environment, just imagine how it's going to do in your home.
That's what I think about myself all the time.
The head only fell off a few times. Yeah. Don't let it out in the yard, though, because you'll never see it again.
I can't wait for the movie to come out.
Yes, this is, by the way, going to be a major character in the new Star Wars movie, which comes out at Christmas.
Yes.
Excited.
All right. I also have a case, a Mophie case, which you've heard of the Mophie cases.
Bring us the water bucket.
The water. Now, I wanted to try this out before.
And I said no.
He
if
said,
you're
we
going
got
to
to
fry a
do it
phone,
live.
do it live.
And as I said, my new phone's not coming till October 16th, so I really trust this Mophie case. But before, it's not just a case. It is also it's a battery charging case.
Mophie has been famous for years for making cases with batteries built in.
So it's waterproof. That's new.
And one of the things that's great about Mophie is it's kind of like a whole second charge. So if you can get through a day with the Mophie, you'll get through two. So this solves any problems people have with battery life on the iPhone. But this is the first time they've done one waterproof. Now, what specification of waterproof is it?
It's military grade specification, so it says.
Okay, usually they'll give you an IP version level. So do they say you can go up to 3 feet underwater for 10 minutes, or they say anything about that?
Well, yes, I'm sure, but I don't know.
Seal it up good.
I know. I was just excited to be dropping it in the water.
All right.
Okay, so I have tried this, and it's not. I mean, you're only going to want to use it if you really think you're going to pour water or
if you're going to do underwater shooting, right? Because the camera still works, right?
The camera still works.
Make sure all the portholes are sealed. You don't want to have anything open there.
I don't want to.
Is the cover on really good? This makes
me a little nervous.
I'm getting now flashbacks.
You realize that you've been buying my iPhone. I think it's really, I don't know about that. I think that thing is fine, right?
Just seal that up really good.
Okay, so should we start taking a video?
Yeah, so while you're doing this, start the video.
Okay.
So that we'll be able to see the video from the iPhone.
Okay. You want to check that? See if it's all sealed up?
No, I don't want responsibility.
Does Lisa want to check it?
Okay, let's look at it. It looks pretty good. There's no obvious gaps. Really? They say that's waterproof, huh? All right. Okay, let's see. Go ahead, put that in there.
I wouldn't be doing this with my rose gold.
Let me just read. This is called the Juice Pack H2O. It's $130 bucks.
H2 Pro.
H2 Pro. I get it.
H2
Get the
Pro.
joke. Yeah. Let me just see. Before you hold on, just to.
You were talking big before.
It's IP68 ingress protection. That means it survives the invasion of dust, foreign objects, and water immersion up to 1.2 meters for 30 minutes. I don't think that's 1.2 meters. Go ahead, dunk it in.
Okay,
you get the video started?
The video is started.
All right. It also includes 2,750 milliamp hours of.
Is it recording? Oh no.
Yeah, it is. See, it's got the stop button. I don't know what it's recording. All right. It seems to.
What if I just stuck my whole hand with my Apple Watch in there? And then,
no, don't do the. Go ahead, take it out. Is that long enough, everybody?
I don't know. Should we?
All right, let's remove it.
That's nothing to see
Last time
here.
I did this, I lost an entire iPhone. Holy cow! What are we gonna do? We have a towel?
It looks good.
We need a towel. Don't open it up. You don't want to get it wet. Quick, get some towels. Wipe it on your. All right. Swipe it on your legs. There you go. You don't want any water on that when you open it up, right?
You don't want any water on it.
This is exciting.
Okay, and then it's really hard to get off. When I put the case on the first time, I could not get it off, and I thought, well, this is the end.
Well, this is also a tough case. The mil spec is 810G. That's a standard that tests against vibrations, shocks, and drops. It's got drop protection up to 1.2 meters, which is so. This is a good case for protecting, for keeping your phone charged, and I think you could. We'll see, but I guess you could use this underwater as an underwater camera.
My hands are shaking a bit from the nervousness.
Why don't we stop the video, because that's going to be really jiggly. All right.
Do you want to do it?
No, go ahead. Don't be nervous. What could possibly go wrong? It's only a 16 gig iPhone.
Yeah,
look at that. It seems like it's dry.
Yeah, it's totally
survived.
dry.
I think this is great.
Yeah.
They're not recommending it for shooting underwater, I don't think.
No, they're not.
Well, but I think I am.
Yeah. Well, it's good. I mean, if you like cook with your iPhone and you spill things.
You know what I like about it? It's exactly, roughly the same size. I'm going to say exactly the same size as the iPhone battery. So it gives you a whole double battery. And it's not very bulky. I mean, it looks pretty good. Let's see the video. Can we watch the video? This is now, we're going to show you what it looked like.
Where do you want me to hold this?
Show a camera, any camera. Well, I don't know. Tony's the best camera. Here, put it over here.
Here, sorry.
Put it over here. There we go. Well, that's a great view.
That is awesome.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, I don't think it's for shooting underwater video.
Can you go backwards and just see? I mean, is that what it looks like? Who's that guy shot? Wait, it's not even playing. There we go. Okay, I think you were still putting the case on at this point. Ah, now we're getting some video.
No, I think that's when I took it off.
All righty. We're trained professionals.
We are.
Don't do this at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, BB-8? Good, huh?
This is why the robots are going to take over.
Wait a minute.
So it's not for everyday use. It's not easy to use.
It's probably not for doing what we just did with it either.
But it was fun, wasn't it?
See, now look. Now see, it's I guess that's what it looks like underwater.
So not ideal.
Yeah, because you can kind of hear me. It sounds like I'm underwater too.
Yeah.
Look at that. I think it worked. All right. You're right. Not exactly suitable for an underwater camera.
But if you
But the iPhone's intact.
If you need to take your phone when you're surfing and, you know.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Yep, up to 100% extra battery. That's kind of nice too.
Yeah.
I like Mophie. They've made great stuff for a long time. It's not cheap. It's you know, I mean, but you get a lot out of it. It's $129.95.
Oh yeah, that's a little bit cheaper than the BB-8.
Yeah.
Okay, here's an even cheaper case. Here's a case if you want to keep showing off your pink iPhone.
That's not a case.
It is. This is the
how can you call that a case?
All titanium radius case.
But it doesn't really protect. I guess it protects the corners.
It protects the corners if you drop it.
Well, don't drop it anywhere but on the corners. It looks more like a bondage device.
It's nice though, isn't it? I mean, I think like if you drop it,
the idea is to kind of sort of protect it without hurting the aesthetics. It is. I like that.
From Mod 3, that one's not cheap either. It's $89. But so if you want, you know, because a lot of people are like, why do I want the rose gold iPhone when I'm going to cover it with a case? Well, you got a clear case.
So I bought 2 cases, so I'll be ready. I don't know which I want. From Dodo Case, I bought a wallet case. Have you ever seen these?
Yes,
They're leather.
Yeah, Lisa has one of those.
Yeah, they have a kind of a rubber band that makes it look like it's a little book. It's a little bulky, but it does hold credit cards, cash, driver's license. So in theory, this could replace my wallet and my phone case. So I bought that, and then I'm getting ready. And then you know that I'm a big fan of the rock form cases. I don't know if you've ever seen.
Yeah, you've shown the one.
Yeah, they have a little doohickey. So I have magnets and the little ratchet all over the place. So I can now, you know, it's great. You could put your iPhone in the rock form case and throw it against the refrigerator and it sticks. If you have, well, okay, so we have a refrigerator that has an aluminum front and it doesn't stick because it's not magnetic. So I threw it and it fell. That's not good. But make sure your refrigerator is magnetic before you do that.
Before you throw your phone at it.
And then look at the RMS attachment, not the aluminum case, but the ones with the RMS attachments, because then you can slot it in. And that one I got is clear. So we'll see. I think we should look at cases. Yeah. That should be part of our mission.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
There's a lot of good ones.
I like this case. Yeah, it comes with a little screwdriver thing, so you can tighten it up or loosen.
Oh, right, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Here's a question we weren't sure about, and Lisa and I went and looked at the specs for the new iPhones. Will an old iPhone case fit the new iPhones? They are not the same.
But it's like a tenth of an inch.
It's a tenth of a millimeter. Not even a tenth of an inch. Tenth of a millimeter, which is such a tiny amount.
Yeah.
Unless you have a really tight case.
Right.
And maybe this Mophie would be one where you don't want it to be but it's a tenth of an inch bigger in a couple of dimensions. I'll tell you what, we'll know the 25th because I didn't get new iPhone cases. I got old iPhone cases, so we'll see.
Oh, good.
I think the Dodo case is not going to be a problem at all, because that's not a tight tolerance case. But something like the Mophie, it might be. You want to keep that watertight.
So should we talk about Blue Apron?
Blue Apron! I love it when I get home.
Blue Apron.
You have it?
Yes, yeah, every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday you get a box.
Yes, yeah.
What's nice about the box is they're refrigerated, so nothing is frozen. Even the meats and fish and vegetables, they're all chilled, but they're not frozen. You arrange when the boxes are going to come, so you can say, I'm not going to be home that week, so don't deliver a box. What's inside? Exactly the right ingredients to make a delicious meal. Not too much, not too little. You never have leftovers. If they need ginger, for instance, I've been making a lot of Asian dishes, they'll have exactly the right amount of ginger. Fresh ginger root. If it needs garlic, actually they give you a whole head of garlic, so you might have an extra clove now and then, but you can never have too much garlic.
No, you can never have
the vegetables are amazing, and they're all come from local farms at the peak of freshness. So they even design their menus to be, seasonal. And look at the menus. You never get a repeat. This is oh, they're going too fast for me to look. This, I guess, is a video from January. But if you go to blueapron.com/twit right now, you can see what's on the menu for this week. Wonderful meals. Now, here's why you want to do it. There we go, September 21st. Cumin, Sichuan, beef and noodles. Oh, I've been getting a lot of Asian stuff lately. Because, you can say, I don't want that, I want that, I want that.
Yeah, I wouldn't get that because I don't eat beef, so I said no beef.
They have vegetarian, though.
Yeah, they do. And I'm a pescatarian.
No, they have fish.
So fish, it's like usually one
fish and 2
vegetarian.
You might get the sauteed shrimp
which is
sandwiches.
Great.
I made a delicious shrimp and lemon linguine dish the other day. It's so much fun. They give you the recipe card. There's even videos online so you can learn how to make the recipe. Notice they have a 2-person plan and a family plan. You must get the family plan, right?
No, I get the 2-person plan, and it's good enough.
And just let the kids be hungry, because frankly, they eat too much anyway.
Yes.
Give them Cheerios. That's good enough for them.
Yeah, the 2-person plan is enough for me. My kids don't eat that much, really.
Yeah, well, you and Marco probably eat the good stuff, and then you let the kids eat, hot dogs.
Yes.
Kids a lot of times. Well, you should try the family plan, because they're kid-friendly ingredients. And you know what's cool? I mean, kids are, well, maybe they're, chicken tenders.
Chicken tenders.
Every kid loves.
No, that is the thing. I have gotten the family plan in the past, and it is much more kid-friendly.
Monterey
so
Jack and Bell.
that.
That's totally. And the thing is, you can cook it with the kids, which is, you could sneakily get in a little education. Seared steak and roast potatoes. We had that. I had that the other day. It was fabulous. So, 500 to 700 calories, takes about half an hour to make. Depends, if you're a little slower or you chat a lot while you're cooking, it can take a little bit longer. You get these great recipe cards. Once you've made it, you know how to do it. That's the beauty part of that, right? You're now an expert in all of this. blueapron.com/twit. See what's on the menu this week. Your first 2 meals, free. You get sweet and sour stir-fried beef with udon noodles. You get long beans and bok choy or lentil and mushroom veggie burgers with arugula salad and aioli. I love it.
My parents get it too.
My mouth is watering.
Yeah.
I want it now. blueapron.com/twit. Your first 2 meals are free.
And my parents invited me over for dinner the other day,
Did
and
they
I
make
brought
Blue
my
Apron?
box. No, I brought my box because they
what
do
a
so
nice
much for
idea.
me. So it's nice to give.
Actually, the meals are big enough, really, for 3 people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we often find we have extra leftovers.
All right, so I have some questions. I was going to ask this earlier when we were talking about Apple TV, but I will ask it now. Fred asked me a question. He says he has a current Apple TV, and he often streams video from his Mac via iTunes.
Right.
So,
because using AirPlay.
Yeah, he's ripped his DVDs on there.
Yeah.
In the screenshots I've seen of the new Apple TV, I don't see the Computers app. Any word about this?
It doesn't
feature?
work that way. You're going to be able to AirPlay to it. Better yet, Plex has announced they're going to make a Plex app. And that's probably an even better way to do it. With Plex, you can have content anywhere on your network, your Mac. You could even have it on a storage device like a network-attached storage or a time capsule. Plex will find it wherever it is, and you can play it on your Apple TV. So I'm really glad Plex is doing it.
Yeah.
And you can always use AirPlay. I know what he's looking for. On the current Apple TVs, there's that computers thing. I don't know if they're going to do that. It wasn't clear. Well, there it is. There it is. That's it.
It used to look like a home. That's what we thought that it was going to be.
It's
that
probably
one.
that.
It looks
right
a
next to the
different.
Crossy Roads guy.
But yeah, so.
That's such an important feature of Apple TV, and frankly, it sells Macs. I can't imagine Apple would take it out.
Right.
So it'll be there in one form or fashion. I think Plex is going to be even better.
Yeah. Okay, we got another email from Matt. He says, after meeting Leo at the Brick House on my vacation a few weeks ago,
hi, Matt.
Mac from the Geek Circle, as well as watching Twig, episode 313. My whole family have got very into Twit. I'm looking for a good, preferably free pedometer app that can also use to log bike rides, etc. What app would you recommend?
Go ahead.
Well, I use my watch, but I assume he doesn't have a watch. And you know, it's weird that you can't use the activity app on your iPhone. Like you can look, but you
have
can't
to have
use
a watch.
it. Yeah, you can't. But
isn't there an app that will measure the jiggles of the iPhone?
Probably. Have you tried Argus?
No.
Argus is an app. I'll open it on my. It's an iPhone app, but I have it on my iPad. I have the iPhone app on my iPad, so. You can see
it shows your steps.
It shows my steps. It
your
shows you can do bike.
Rumble.
You can do rumbles, so you can challenge people. Like we could say who's.
It doesn't need a watch, though, right?
No, it does not need a watch. It needs nothing.
So your phone becomes the pedometer.
Yeah, let's see it on the
be a little bit bigger, easier to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
So track all your physical activities, and you can do biking or yoga, which is interesting. And I've been looking to do that.
The watch doesn't know you're doing yoga. You have to tell it.
Yeah, you can't even tell it you're doing yoga. You just say other on the watch, and then it just guesses. So I haven't signed up here, but I have been using it on my phone. So it's just all these. I just look at the interface, so you can see here are my steps. I want sustained weight loss, so it'll give me some workout plans. Here's the in-app purchases, but the app itself is free. So you can do running, and so here's some of my running distance.
You know, my Samsung phones have this built in, and I love it because when we were in New York last week, I love walking around New York, and I took a 2-hour walk around New York, and I got 11,000 steps, and I hadn't even thought to set a watch or anything.
Yeah,
I just remembered because I was walking, and I jiggle a little bit as I'm walking. That's enough.
It'll remind you to drink water. I like that too.
Good.
You know.
This looks a lot like the activity app.
It does.
Yeah.
But it does allow. It is a pedometer. It will also let you track your bike rides.
And you've been using it.
I have been using it. And
obviously,
I do
you work out a lot.
And you can, as you see, join friend. You know, you can have friends on Rumble, and say, I'm going to work out more than you this week. Do you want to Rumble with me, Leo? See who works out the most this week?
Can you have like a nap Rumble?
It doesn't have naps in it. It does not track your sleep. But
can you have a let's watch TV Rumble?
No, but if other people have another app that they like for biking,
I'm sure there's quite a few.
Yes, you can.
Because the accelerometer in the phone knows when you're walking.
Yeah.
Or sleeping.
But not biking.
Yeah, unless you strap it to your calf. I used to do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But what about like Map My Run and those things? They probably also
Map My Ride is for bicycling?
Map My Ride, yeah.
Map My Run is for, and there's Runtastic. Yeah, there's a lot of apps that do this. Yeah.
So.
I'm kind of surprised Apple doesn't just include one.
I know. It's weird and I don't understand.
Somebody's talking.
So thank you, Matt. He's from @GeekCircle on Twitter.
There you go.
We have a subreddit, as you probably know. That's it's reddit.com/iOS today.
/r/iOS.
That's for the subreddits.
Yep.
And so we got a comment on the subreddit that Status Board. Do you remember you recommended Status Board?
I love Status Board. Yeah.
It's now free with in-app purchases. It used to cost a lot of money.
Yeah, it was very expensive.
So thank you, P.O. Box.
Wow, since August. Almost a whole month. Well, that's nice. And I apologize for those of you who bought Status Board because I said you should buy it because it was like $10, right?
Well, yeah, I think it was expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, it's free now.
It's free with in-app purchases.
Yeah. I wonder. I bet you I have. Yeah. See, the expansion pack is $12.99. So I wonder if I have all. I wonder if I get the benefit of that since I've got the full version.
Well, we also got an email from Keith. He says, I was listening to episode 262 in my car this morning and loved your Siri tips. I did want to throw one thing out there, though.
Okay.
I'm not sure who said it, but the suggestion was made that you would want to read what Siri is sending when composing text messages and emails from the car over Bluetooth. However, at least for me, Siri reads back my messages to me when I'm using Bluetooth in my car before asking if I would like to send a message.
That's right. Yeah.
So, yeah, but it does it occasionally,
Here's what
but not
I heard.
always. And sometimes with email it does it, and sometimes it doesn't. So, but Siri will be improved.
Yeah, I can't wait to see. I mean, it's funny because the invitation to the event said, "Hey Siri, give us a hint." What happens now if you ask, "Hey Siri, give me a hint"? Just say, "Give me a hint." Let's see what
he says.
He says.
We speak.
Yeah. He's a he.
Give me a hint.
I think the cat's out of the bag now.
I think the cat's out of the bag now. Let's try it again.
Give me another hint.
I think the cat's out of the bag now.
Okay, try one more time.
Siri, give me a hint.
I think the cat's out of the bag.
Give me a hint, please.
That may be beyond my abilities at the moment.
You were too nice.
I know. So, yeah.
They couldn't write a couple of extra.
I am not a big fan of Siri's sardonic humor. I have to say.
Snarky Siri is not a nice person.
Okay, we got a voicemail too. Let's listen to that voice.
Leo and Megan, sent from Omaha. Wanted to ask your opinion. I saw that they have a Google News app, and I know Apple is planning on doing a Apple News in iOS 9.
Next week,
you think that will be a good competitor? Thanks. Love the show.
It actually works the other way around. After Apple announced News, Twitter and Google just last week announced, oh yeah, we can do that too. Facebook started it. So everybody's trying to get into this space, and I have some qualms about it. The idea is, oh, you don't want to go to the web to read your news. You want to read some aggregated news that's provided by Google and Twitter. Theirs is at least open source, or Apple or Facebook. We just have to wait and see. The idea is it's a kind of prettier publishing platform. Faster, because it's not the web. They've got a way to monetize it. They're going to be ads, but they won't be abusive. They'll be much nicer. And, here's an interesting point. Ad blockers won't work. And I think that's a large part of this because it's an app. It's not a web page. So I have mixed feelings about the news apps. We'll have to see. I haven't played with any of them yet. So, do you have it? Is this a beta version? Well, I can't show that. I can't show it. I don't want to show it. It's a. I don't know what the rules are. Did you sign an NDA with Apple? Yeah, you did. Yeah, but you're not supposed to give it to me.
We only have a few more days, right?
We'll see
it comes
soon.
out next Wednesday.
Wednesday we get WatchOS, right?
Yes.
And then when do we get iOS 9? I think it's.
I thought it was next Wednesday.
It's not.
I thought it was this Wednesday.
No, I think that's. Oh, I don't know. We should know.
No, we should know.
Oh, we should know. September. I thought.
September 19th.
September 19th was WatchOS only, and then we'll get iOS on the 25th. Usually it's the Wednesday before.
September 16th was.
Why don't you ask Siri?
When can I download iOS 9?
Let's see. Okay, I found this on the web. When can
Really?
I download iOS
Siri? Because
Really?
if I mean,
ought to
I don't feel
know.
so bad that I don't know it.
If Siri doesn't know.
Yeah. Well, any day now. Any day now. Sorry.
No, I know. I'm pretty sure, but we'll stand corrected if we're wrong. This Wednesday is going to be WatchOS. A week from Wednesday will be iOS 9.
Okay.
And that's usually the case a couple of days before the new phones come out. Of course, if you get a new phone, you'll also
September
get...
16th. That's what I thought.
Oh, good. I'm sorry. I stand corrected. This Wednesday. Is that this Wednesday?
That is this Wednesday.
It is, day
I'm
after
glad.
tomorrow. I'm excited.
Okay.
Too
so
bad I don't have an iPhone.
You have an iPad.
So I think you can.
The most advanced mobile experience. So we'll find out about news then.
Yes, but one interesting thing about news, I mean, I don't know if he's talking about that instant articles, Facebook, or the Google, Twitter combination, but he's asking, I think he's asking, will it be as good as Google News?
Google News, the aggregator, news.google.com, is a completely different thing.
Right, and I think then that, I mean, they use so much of your information.
It's not even related. It's not even related.
No.
So the way Google News works is it's like a kind of a search. Here are all the big stories. Here's all the news people covering it, and then you click a link to go to read that website. That's not what Apple News is doing.
No.
Apple News is a magazine where they aggregate it, they watch what you do, and they improve it based on what you read and don't read.
Well, Google also does that.
Not news.google.
Google News, they do based on your searching. When I go to Google News, it's based on things that I've looked at
but you're not
before.
getting the articles. You're getting, it's a search
Links.
result,
Yeah.
just as all Google search results are. That's different from what this is.
Right, but my
this
point
is a
about
magazine.
the difference between Google News and Apple News is Google News is aggregating everything it knows about me, what I search for, what I click on.
Yeah, but all Google searches do that.
Right, but I'm saying that's the difference
Unless you
between
log
Apple
out.
News.
And
But
if
that's, right, but that's the difference. Like Google always uses all
You're
of
saying
the
Apple News
information.
doesn't know what else you've done because
doesn't-
Apple wants to protect your privacy.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
They intentionally don't look at what else you're
Right,
doing.
yeah.
In fact, there's a big question to me about Apple says we don't pay attention to what you read. We customize it based on what you read, but we don't store that information. Does that mean if I read one thing on the iPad and another thing on the iPhone that I'm going to have different profiles? Apple must be sharing those profiles across platforms, which means they do pay attention to what you read.
They are tracking because they have iAd.
They say they don't.
But they're not sending it up to the cloud, is what they're
see.
Not saying on device. I think that's what
it is on the cloud. It has to be, because if it's on my iPad and my iPhone, and my iPhone learns from what I've read on my iPad, then it's somewhere up there in the Apple cloud that it's keeping track of what I'm reading.
But my point is that Google News is so finely tuned to everything it's known about me since I've been using it. I think so, yes. Yeah, I think that all of their, what you click on, what you read, what you search for.
Are you talking about news.google.com?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't, it doesn't feel customized at all to me, but.
Really?
Yeah. But, you know, it feels like it's just the big headlines.
I don't think you know exactly, because
well, you don't know
what
they're customizing.
But I do think that
you would know if here's how you test. Log out or just create an incognito tab and a private tab.
Or I could search for something and you could search for something and we could see what
see
came
if it's
up.
the same.
Yeah.
Well, here's the top stories. Police seek person of interest after history professor. Refugees exhausted. Yes, I feel like this is, and by the way, they want you to use this app that they no longer really promote, Google News and Weather. That's kind of funny. So these are top stories. Now, there is a suggested for you tab, and of course it says Petaluma, so it knows it's me.
Yeah.
So some of those top things would be different. But I feel like these are the big stories of the day.
Right. I think you sign in for personalized news. Yeah.
And if you sign out, it should look a little bit different.
Yeah.
Well, you don't need yours. Your interface looks different.
This is the app, the Google News app.
Oh, you're using the app. I'm using the web.
Yeah.
Okay. Same stories, though.
Yeah, same stories and same suggestion for Petaluma stories, too.
Well, that's because you're in Petaluma. I wonder what's going on in Petaluma. Oh, look at this. Good stuff rummage sale for Petaluma Pet Pals. That's exciting. Actually, that's where we got our kitties. Mobile banking developer plans move to Petaluma. Ever wonder what life is like? Here in Petaluma, we don't really know.
So do you think Gazelle knows that I've just dipped my iPhone in water?
I hope not, but if they do, you're in trouble. No, I think that your iPhone survived that.
Yeah,
but
I think
maybe,
so,
what are you going to do with that old iPhone?
Good question.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? It really belongs to you, so what are you going to do with it?
I can tell you exactly what I'm going to do with it. G-A-Z-E-L-L-E. We use Gazelle all the time. You know, one of the things that really endeared me to Gazelle, last year when we upgraded iPhones, there's a cascade, right? You know, Lisa's old one gets handed down to her kid, and we had one left over at the end of the cascade, the oldest one of all. We went online, I think it was an iPhone 4, and we got a quote for 35 bucks. Said, hey, better than nothing. So we sent it to them. They said, no, you know what? After looking at it, it's in much better shape than you said. It's got whatever it was, more memory. They like doubled our offer. They have no obligation to do that, but they're good people, and that's what I love about them. You can go to Gazelle right now and get a quote for your old iPhone or devices from a lot of different manufacturers. Lock that quote in for 30 days. You don't have, their obligation is to you. You have no obligation to them. At the end of the 30 days, you're not required to sell it to them. But if you feel like it, if you say, good, I got my iPhone 6S, I'm ready to send it in, you push the button, you check out, they'll send you a box, prepaid postage. You send it back. I would say don't stop with your iPhone 6. Go look at that, 350 bucks. Wow. Don't stop with your iPhone 6. Go and find all your old gadgets and get quotes for them on Gazelle. They'll send you the box. You ship it back to them. If you forget to wipe the data, actually in some cases you can't because they buy broken iPhones and iPads too. If you can't wipe the data, don't worry, they will. And then they'll send you a check in the mail, a PayPal credit, or if you buy a lot of stuff on Amazon, this would be a good deal, an Amazon gift card, and that's worth 5% more. They bump the price up. Gazelle's paid out over $200 million to over 1 million customers. They are the greatest. Now's the time. We've got new iPhones and iPads coming down the road. If you want to get that new iPad, that new iPhone, don't forget. Don't just stuff it in a drawer. That'd be crazy. Sell it to Gazelle. G-A-Z-E-L-L-E. Gazelle.com. Is it app cap time?
It is app cap
You know,
time.
in a few minutes I'm going to leave for the 49ers game in Santa Clara, and I thought I'd wear this to the game. What do you think?
I think that you definitely should, and you probably will not get stopped at the door. I'm going to wear this, although I think I'm wearing it wrong.
You almost certainly are.
There we go.
There you go.
There
it's
we
a
go.
mohawk.
There we go.
That's nice. That's for Northeastern University.
Ah.
Yeah.
Where'd we get this?
Jeffrey Needles.
Oh.
That was his alma mater.
My aunt went to Northeastern,
Well,
and my
there-
uncle.
there you go.
Not at the same time as Jeffrey Needles.
Almost certainly not. So what is your app, Kat?
Well, so yeah, we wear hats at this part of the show if you've never seen it, because we like to wear hats and
itchy.
because it's our app cap. My app cap is why I've been wearing this lovely rose gold double loop, nice leather.
It's the ugliest.
Moto 360 of yours.
No, it's not a Moto 360. That is the LG
I mean the LG
Urbane.
Urbane. I'm sorry, it's the LG Urbane.
Put it in the camera there.
There we go.
You go.
And now, because you can pair it with your Apple Watch. I mean, with your iPhone. You really should pair it with your Apple Watch so you can
That'd be really silly.
watch paired with your watch.
One watch at a time.
So this is the first time you've been able to use Android, use an Android Wear with your Apple Watch with iOS.
I heard about this. So what is the, you get an app from Google to do this?
Yeah, or you can get it at the App Store. It's a free app. And it does a pretty basic thing. So, you know, it gets my chat. There's, you know,
and can you swipe it off to the right?
You swipe it up.
No,
So,
swipe it to the right. Go ahead, just try it.
I'll swipe.
Do me a favor, just swipe it to the right.
Okay, this is an email, and I'll swipe it to the right.
See that? Gets rid of it.
And then I got an email from
swipe it to the right.
From Burke, but will I ever be able to read that email from Burke?
Yeah,
He can
yeah,
send
just
it
not
again.
on the watch. You're getting rid of it on the watch. So
Swipe
these
it
are
to the right.
this is the Android Wear interface, which is a card-based interface. So swiping it up temporarily removes it. Swiping it off to the right gets rid of it. And in some cases, you can swipe to the left. Go ahead, swipe to the left on that.
To the left. Then I block the app by swiping to the left.
So you don't want to do that. But that's not always the result.
What happens if I swipe up?
It's not going away. You're going to have it there.
I can look at it later.
Yeah.
No wonder they don't go anywhere.
Yeah,
So
swipe to the right.
Swipe to the right to get
rid of it. Didn't you read the instructions?
No, I never read any instructions.
Sometimes swiping to the left will let you either launch the app, although in this case I doubt it because you're using an iPhone.
There are no apps.
On the
Just
iPhone.
yeah.
Launch the app on the iPhone.
Yeah, on the
or respond. So go ahead and swipe to the right. Yeah.
I can't respond on here. Swipe to the right.
Swipe to the... No, the other way.
Swipe twice.
Yeah, this way. No, the other way.
Oh, swipe to the left.
But I want...
Swipe to the left. It's history. Now tap that. Swipe to the left again. No, there's your history.
There's my
See, so there
history.
are apps on here. This is the Google Fit app.
So you can see how I got bored and didn't wear it on Saturday or Wednesday.
It's an ugly ass watch. I mean, I wouldn't blame you.
But so you want to see? I can also do my heart rate. That's something I can do.
Yeah.
And
that's built in.
I can do my heart rate.
Hey, you can
here.
see 2 heart rates.
Yeah, I can see 2 heart rates.
Compare them.
So
Although
let's see.
it's not really in an ideal position.
No, because
here I am apologizing for the Android Wear watch.
It's not any faster or slower.
It's doing almost exactly the same thing. It shines a light into your wrist.
Let's see if it's the same.
You were 60.
Rate.
You know what?
But
You're
it's faster.
amazingly consistent.
68. I think it's because it's further up on.
An hour ago, you were 65, so you're pretty much in there.
But yeah, so it was actually,
cool.
I found it faster. Did you notice
cool.
that? Some of the notifications do come in faster. You know what you get that you don't. Sorry. You know what you get that you don't get on
what do you
your
get
Apple
that
Watch?
you don't get?
Google Now cards.
Well, that's what you were looking at.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But like things like packages being shipped,
Right,
the things that it goes through your Gmail to get out of that, you're not going to get that on the Apple Watch.
Hurry up!
This is a good look.
I'm getting sweaty in here.
I think
that's pretty cool. That's
if you
a lot of the functionality of Android Wear, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't use that many other things. I don't use a lot of apps on my Apple Watch.
Right.
Like I'm not
Nobody
scrolling
does.
through
It takes
Instagram.
forever. That's going to change maybe on Wednesday.
Yeah. So now, when you use the LG Urbane with your Android phone, can you? It's so hard to talk to you. Can you go on Wi-Fi?
My face is melting inside here.
Can you connect in Wi-Fi instead of using it Bluetooth?
Yes.
Okay, because like you can't do that with the iOS app.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing is it doesn't. It loses. Like I can go pretty far from my Apple Watch.
Yeah, because it's using Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
This is Bluetooth, so it's only 30 feet. That is something you have to have an Android phone for.
Yeah.
That's pretty good though. You get the
you get you can track your steps. You can look at your agenda.
Right there.
What other things can you do? Yeah, I can look at my agenda. I can set alarms.
Yeah, these are
timers,
all apps that you
flashlight.
So there's a limited set
Google,
of apps. The apps
LG Plus,
yeah.
stopwatch.
Pulse. That's Pulse.
Pulse. Oh.
Yeah.
Pulse. I can do my pulse.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Well,
The
you
weather.
just did it. Google Fit or
heart
LG
rate.
Pulse.
My heart rate.
Your Pulse is a heart rate.
Oh, it is?
What did you think it was going to throb?
I
that the watch would
have
just
no
pulse on
idea.
your wrist?
So yeah, there's yeah.
It's
I
not as
like my app.
functional.
It's not as pretty either.
No, really isn't.
So I'm gonna schedule this email from Mike so I can look at it later.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go. It's free.
It is free.
But you have to have an Android Wear watch.
You have to have an Android Wear watch, or you have to have a boss who buys Android Wear watches every 3 or 4 months.
You know, they say it only works with the LG Watch Urbane. A number of people have said it would work with the older Moto 360s and other watches. You could try it to see. It should work with any newer Android Wear watch, like the new Moto 360 when it comes.
And they're coming up with women's Android watches. So I think if you are against getting an Apple Watch, the price is, I mean, this is the same. These two watches are the same price, if you can believe that.
Well, if you consider $100 less, the same price.
This was This wasn't $350.
That was $350.
Yeah.
Wow! Thank God I didn't have to buy it. Oh, I did. I thought there are Android Wear watches for less.
I think
in fact, an old Moto 360 rolls plastic, and an Android 360 would probably old Moto 360 I think is $150. So
yeah.
You can save money. But they're not as functional as an Apple Watch.
And maybe you you know you think you might in the future switch to an Android phone. Then maybe an Android Wear watch.
It's an interesting play from Google. I don't really get it, to be honest with you. But you know. Maybe you have an old Android Wear watch, you want to use it.
Maybe you
So
do.
I was in New York, as you know, last week. And,
How was that?
It was fun. We went to an event at WNYC, the public radio in New York City. They have a great event space there. And I met some of the people from WNYC, and they said, have you tried our app? And I said, what are you talking about? I'm a Mexican wrestler. Why would I? No. I said, no, I haven't. They said, well, give it a try.
At the meetup?
No, I did not wear this at the meetup. This is from WNYC. It's called WNYC Discover, and I actually really like this. Now, you may say, well, I don't live in New York. What would I care? Well, here's why. It isn't really just New York. It's really public radio. So you can listen to the on-air streams. That's the NYC station, but they also have a classical station. They have the Jonathan channel, which couldn't go wrong.
Alec Baldwin's show used to be on WNYC.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest stations. They have a considerable number of podcasts, including On the Media. But here's what I like, the Discover feature. So this is what you do. You say, well, what topics are you interested in, Megan? I think you like the arts,
I like
books. You probably don't care about business, education. I know you don't care about the environment. You drive that clunker. How about food, health, history, and media? So you pick and there's quite a few topics here. You can even have classical music, opera music, world news. Oh, I know you're interested in parenting and poetry. Kind of the way you do it is poetry. And of course, technology. So we're going to select those. Now, so we've picked some subjects. Now, how much time do you have? How long is your commute?
10 minutes.
Well,
20 minutes.
you can't make it less than 20, but
well, if you
can make
the
it
time
longer.
I'm folding laundry, washing dishes,
this I
walking
like.
the dog.
And of course, you don't have to listen to the whole thing, but you can say,
I like
create a
the time.
playlist that's 60 minutes long from this subject. It's going to then go out and look at the archives of public radio, the archives at WNYC, and put together a playlist based on your preferences. So, and it's downloading these now. This is How to Be Spiritually Bold. Is the makeup tax worth it? The Mediterranean diet with extra olive oil. The Castaways. And now you can start listening to these. It's downloading them, and you can take it on the road with you and listen. And I think that's really,
Twit app should have
that's
that.
really cool. Isn't that nice? You say how long you have, what subjects you're interested in. It's not whole shows. Sometimes it's just a segment from All Things Considered or Morning Edition, the various different newscasts. So they'll put it together for you, and it's pretty close to, let's see, that's 51 minutes, that's 58 minutes, 60 minutes, 76 minutes. It's pretty close to what I specified.
That's
So
cool.
that's Discover. There's a lot of other features, but this is completely free. You can favorite some shows. I was really impressed, and I think for the Discover feature alone, this is something that would be a great add-on to your iPad or your iPhone. It's actually an iPhone app. I'm showing it on the iPad. WNYC Discover. It's my app cap, and it's free.
I really like that. We should add that to the Twit app so that you can do a
Wouldn't that be a nice
Discover.
feature?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I want, you know.
But we'd have to say
iOS
how long do you want to listen to? 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, 100 hours, and then build it from there.
1,000 hours.
1,000 hours. Couldn't do
The
20
show
minutes.
feels like 1,000
We don't have any 20-minute shows, do we?
Yes.
Is your
we
show
do.
20 minutes?
Yes. Tech News Tonight, which I need to prepare for, is around 20 minutes.
That's why you want to do this.
And i5 for the iPhone is about 10 or 12 minutes.
Well, I've got a football game to go to, as you might know.
I've got a tech news show to write.
So let's say thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you
Come
for
back
joining
next
us.
week. We do this every Monday about, what, 1 o'clock Eastern?
12:30 is when it's scheduled, yes.
12:30 to 1
yes.
Pacific. That would be 3:30 to
12.
4 Eastern.
Yes.
2200, 2030 UTC.
Yeah.
It's hard to think when your head is sealed in some sort of synthetic material.
You can write to us at iOS Today at twit.tv. You can write directly to me at Megan at twit.tv. I read that. I'm very efficient.
I'm so sorry you have to work with that guy, Leo. She gets a lot of those.
It's always fun and always a pleasure. Thank you for letting me almost destroy my
16
iPhone.
gigabytes,
Yeah.
really? I like the January memo.
The January memo.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time on iPad Today. iOS Today. Let's do that again. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
On iOS Today.
Good name.